So I want to come back and finish Adam's story. The situation is that Mick and Bobby are giving him the silent treatment. His employees seem to be forgetting how to do the simplest thing. Every few minutes there's a machine shutdown. By the end of the month, Adam's department was showing its poorest record ever. As I said in the last section, more important than the situation is the meaning that Adam gives the situation, the story he tells himself, how he talks to himself. He can talk to himself in a fear-based way that disempowers him to deal with this situation effectively. If he's a dominator, his thoughts are likely to be based on blame and attacking others. These people are a bunch of jerks to slow things down and make life hard. I can't believe they treat me this way. I need to have a meeting and confront this head on, let them know that I can't accept it, and heads are going to roll if our numbers don't pick up. If Adam's an accommodator, his thoughts would more likely be about his doubts, about himself. They don't like me. I don't know how to get these guys working again. I'm in over my head. This supervision sucks. I suck as a supervisor, and so on. I could go on and on speculating about his thinking. I'm simply giving you a few examples. What's important to recognize is that his thinking, the story he tells himself, will influence how he behaves, what he's likely to say and do. This kind of thinking that I've been explaining will move Adam into the cycle of weakening behavior. He'll use the strategies of dominating, accommodating, avoiding to handle the situation, which will only lead to more negative consequences, greater tension, mistrust, ill will, defensiveness from his employees, win-lose interactions. Things aren't going to get better. The conflict will continue to escalate. On the other hand, if Adam were to choose to create more positive thoughts, he might be able to say to himself things like, things have gone downhill, that doesn't feel good, it seems like I've made some mistakes, people aren't responding very well to my leadership. But deep down I believe I've got what it takes to be a good supervisor. I've just got to figure out how to get it back on track. I know I can't do it alone. I probably came on too strong, and I need to regain my team's trust. They probably don't like what's happening either. They want to feel good about our department. So I'm going to start talking to them to see if we can get this back on track. Well, notice how these thoughts are trust rather than fear-based. This means that at a moment of choice, it's much easier for Adam to move towards collaboration rather than moving into one of the weakening strategies. He's acting rather than reacting and more likely to engage in dialogue in a way that's going to lead to productive outcomes, to emotional safety, trust, goodwill, and win-win interactions. So let's see what Adam does. He decides his first step is to approach Mick and Bobby and explore what happened. So late one afternoon, he invites them to go with him to the cafeteria. He buys them a drink and they all sit down at the table. Adam begins, "Hey, you guys, I need to get something out in the open. Things haven't been going very well since the day that I confronted you here in the cafeteria. I think it's affecting everything. I'm guessing you were pretty ticked and disappointed in me, and I want to understand your point of view and see if we can't make things better between us. Are you game?" Well, Mick and Bobby look at each other. Mick speaks up. "Well, you've got that right. We were disappointed in you. We thought you had more class than that. We didn't appreciate you being on your high horse." Adam says, "So you saw it as pretty arrogant of me to demand that you get back to work." Bobby, "Yeah, we did. In fact, I can remember a few times you coming in here with us before closing time. So what right did you have to tell us to get back to work? We'd done our jobs for the day. It was just a few minutes before quitting time." Adam says, "So it seems to you like I overreacted. It wasn't a big deal." Bobby, "That's right. It was like you were saying, I'm the boss now and you'd better do what I say." Adam, "My whole attitude put you off." Mick, "Yeah, the message that we got was we're just a couple of peons. You're the only guy around here with a brain who cares about what's going on." Adam says, "So you put it that way and I can see why you'd be ticked. So let me ask you guys, are there other things I'm doing that are sending that same message?" Well, Adam's objective, by the way, is to create a safe climate for his employees to open up to him. He needs to be willing to give up his need to defend and protect himself if he's going to accomplish this. So Bobby speaks up. Yeah, you're making all these changes and announcing them to us like procedures for data entry. Adam, okay, anything else? Bobby, well, everything is so serious. We used to joke around here. Now our staff meetings are right to the point. We can't even get off topic or laugh and joke for even a few minutes without you steering us back on task. We know you have high expectations, but it's making the rest of us feel like imbeciles. Adam says, so the way I'm running our staff meetings, my focus on productivity, getting results all the time is really getting to you. It's keeping you from enjoying your work and making you feel incapable. Mick says, that's right. Adam, I'm seeing how much you resent what I've done as I've taken over this job. It seems like I've lost your trust and maybe that of the whole team. Bobby, yeah, that's about right. Adam, I really want to understand, guys, and I'd like to get it back on track. I think you probably would too. Can I share with you my point of view? Mick, okay. Adam says, it was pretty hard to accept this job. It felt kind of overwhelming to me. I was really uncomfortable with the idea of supervising people, especially people that had been my coworkers and friends. So I think I decided at some point that if you guys were going to accept me as your supervisor, that if I was going to make the transition, then I'd have to act the part. I couldn't be your peer. I had to be your boss. But maybe I overdid it. So Adam's now making himself a little vulnerable. We often believe that it isn't businesslike to do so, but by doing so, he makes himself more real and approachable. And notice how he does this without really putting himself down. So Bobby comes back and says, I'll say. Adam says, I honestly thought a lot of my ideas were pretty good and you guys would actually like them and they'd help us be more productive. And I thought that the way to earn respect was to run a tight ship, like our staff meetings. I've always thought they were pretty loosey-goosey. To tell you the truth, I thought people would respect me for bringing a little more discipline. But I'm seeing that what I'm doing is having the opposite effect. Mick, you got that right. Adam, I'm aware that we're in this together. I think you guys like it as much as me when we're hitting all our numbers. I think all of us want to succeed, so I'm wondering if we can talk about how to right this ship. Can we talk about what's important to each of us and brainstorm some things to get back on track? Mick and Bobby nod. Adam, so what's important to you guys as we try to solve this? Mick and Bobby make a list. They begin listing some things that are important to you. We want you to loosen up, be a little more easygoing. We'd like you to let us know about changes you're thinking about and have a chance to weigh in. We'd like you to talk to us about a concern and not just act like the big boss. So Adam also thinks about what is important to him, and he says things like, I want to feel like we're working together and not fighting each other. I want you guys to be happy again. I want the whole team to feel empowered. I'd like to kick some butt and see our numbers up where they've been in the past. So then Adam invites them to brainstorm. What are some ways that we can achieve these wants, what is important to us? And they agree on some specific actions that each of them can take, including having a similar discussion with the whole team. Notice how Adam opened up communication. He began building trust in the way that he's communicating with Mick and Bobby. He's not only concerned about the department and the numbers and solving the problem at hand, but he's concerned about communicating in a way that repairs the relationship that has been damaged, that preserves the self-esteem of his employees and involves them in solving the problem. Through dialogue, his people are going to be more responsive to his leadership. He's going to benefit from their input and positive engagement in moving the business forward. So take a look at the next exercise. It's a chance for you to do an assessment of your readiness. How ready are you to lose dialogue? And then you'll see a case study, a written case study of a company that I worked for, and by the way, which fired me, which illustrates the importance of dialogue and the serious consequences of not engaging in open and honest communication.